Hey guys, we're back for part 2 of the conference recap. So last week we did our Watersport Conference. This week we're going to give a little recap of Arival this year. Arival was in Vegas. For you that are not familiar with Arival, it's an annual conference for the tour and activity industry. And there's a lot of workshops and presentations. It's put on by Douglas Quimby and Bruce Rosard. And had a great time in Vegas. You know, I didn't go to a lot of the sessions because the blackjack tables kept calling my name. But, you know, I've been the Arival for years, I think now, 4 or 5. You know, sometimes with the first times I went to like all the programming, and then I just now pick and choose which ones because a lot of it's somewhat surface level, you know, a lot of beginners for tour companies. And I know Kevin and I are going to probably go in more detail about that a little later in the show. But overall, the networking is excellent, and got to a lot of our listeners that didn't come to the Watersport Conference came to the show, and I had a great time. So look forward to next year.
Can we just go to Vegas, get like a good resort, fucking hang out, do the stuff that Vegas does, and we'll just dispense with all the, what do they call it, bleisure, business leisure?
Bleisure?
Yeah, business leisure. It's called bleisure travel. Yeah.
You popped in and
popped in and popped out.
You popped in and popped out. It's like where's I think the number one question is where's Kevin?
Yeah.
Where's Kevin?
Hiding. But I just wish there was some more stuff in it for guys like me. You know what I mean? Like I don't feel like I'm you know what I mean? I'm just a weird guy, and I don't put on sports coats, and I don't put on airs, dude. Like I am unapologetically me, and fucking, you know, I talk how I talk, I act how I act, and I build my business based on my ethics and my personal brand. And that's just, you know, like if I wanted a fucking job, then I would go work for somebody. You know what I mean? And not to say that I can't. I'm a team fucking player, dude. You know what I mean? You can ask anybody I've ever worked for. I'm a grinder. You know, if I believe in what I'm doing, then I sell that shit, dude. I worked hard for Sunset for years. I fucking co-sign them. I co-sign the people on the show, their business. And I fucking sell, dude. And that's my biggest issue with Arival. Is that, like, and it's real funny because, like, and I'm going to keep on preaching it from the mountaintops. Like, at the end of the day, like, if I am a fit for you, if my business is a fit for you, which my customers who come out and get boats and jet skis and kayaks and paddleboards, my staff who learns from me, are a fucking fit for me, dude. Because I'm the best product in the market. And I have no problem telling people that I'm the best mentor in this industry that you can come work for, because I am going to fucking push you. And we will find out in the wash if that's not a fit. But my customers, by and large, my employees, by and large, walk away from our transactions and our experience together, and it's a positive one. And I don't have to soft sell that, and I don't have to put that in a room and let that be done from the side. I'm going to sell that from the fucking stage. And so, like, that's my biggest issue with Arival, is that it's like, at the end of the day, you're still selling. You're still being sold, man. And me and Douglas can go back and forth on this. We talked about at dinner in Orlando. And he's like, yeah, man. He's like, I'm not with selling from the stage. Well, okay, fine. But I'm going to go in a demo lab put on by a product. They can't sell. They can't hard sell me. But they can soft sell. Well, what's the fucking difference, man? If this is a fit, if we're a fit, ask for the sale, man. At the end of the thing, like, hey, does this seem right for you? Does our product seem right for you? Not like educational, but they're paying to be the teachers. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's sort of like wrapped up in this, like, you know, I'm not going to say it's duplicitous because I understand that it comes from a place of, like, they want to educate, right? And that's great. And they don't want people, you know, selling. But at the same time, it's being sold. I go into that big room and everybody's banners and marketing material and giving out T-shirts, and they're fucking standing there. You know, the only difference is they can't, like, yell at you like a lotion guy in a mall. And I appreciate that and I respect that. You know, but at the same point in time, there's some stuff that could be happening there that I think would be of benefit to operators, whether it be, let's just say, Salesforce or Hootsuite or HubSpot or whatever it may be, that's just not being offered. So the problem with that is I feel like I'm coming there and I'm on repeat. You know, it's the same vendors. It's the same programming. Because the vendors are like a big part of the programming, and they're selling.
Because sponsors are you're going to probably 50% of the programming is going to be based around the sponsors. You know,
hey, look, I got a good one, man. My guys will love this. At the end, I go over to Viator, and they had these boxes. So, like, that's what I got out of it. I got a lot of free swag. So my ticket, man. I mean, I'm pretty much fucking wardrobed out, man. I am in tour drip. You know what I mean? I got we got my peak shirt and got my peak notepad. I had a backpack. I had to go unload, man. Like, I don't know if you saw it, but everyone was laughing about it because I did. I had like 20 t-shirts. So I went over to Viator and they had these boxes there and I thought they were t-shirts because Viator was giving away cookies and water. Fucking surprise, I have surprise. Let me finish the story. I got to finish the story because it's funny. It's a good aside. So I walk over to Viator and I go, are those boxes full of t-shirts? She's like, oh, well, no, those are for like another thing that we're taking with us. And I go, oh, look at that. Viator not providing any value. Surprise, surprise. I was like, I'll go get a nice cup of free water. Thanks, Viator. She didn't think it was funny. I did. Anyway.
Jeez. Well, I agree. It does feel like it's on repeat sometimes, but some of these companies do have new updates and things that, new features that they want to discuss. But, like the first couple times I went to Arival, I participated in a lot of the programming because I was new. Like, I was new to the industry. I wanted to learn a little bit more. Now that I've been going a while, it's more so a way to catch up and network with new partners. Now, for TripShock side, it's excellent because the suppliers are there. There's software companies that we need to catch up with, and some of them. We actually have a couple really hot leads for integrations. So, for us,
business to business, it's great.
Business to business.
I
will say, as education, but you got to think like like our Watersport Conference, there's so much in our vertical that content that is curated towards a certain. If I'm a watersport operator, it's really hard to go to a session that doesn't necessarily have the same challenges and same problems that we're trying to solve. So to create a very umbrella focused programming, it's hard. I'm going to give them that. And some of the programming is very surface level, but it's great if you are just getting into the tour industry. You're transitioning to this, to tours. It's excellent. The programming is definitely on par. Now, once you get further along and you get the experience, you're not going to go to Arival for the programming as much as you are for catching up and learning from others. And I think that's where, I got a lot of great ideas from just talking with other operators. And honestly, like, that's where you transition. Like, you go for the first couple of years, you're really going to go heavy on the programming to educate yourself. And then, then you're going to start seeing, okay, the real value is talking to other operators, because I felt like the operators that are already educated, they're not going to be at the programming sessions. They're going to be hanging out in the networking lounge or by the pool, or they're going to be out and about. So, you just got to know going into it, like, what are you looking to achieve? And if you're there for networking and learning from others like that, everyone's there. So you'll find people to connect with.
Yeah. And look, man, it's like, I'm going to go devil's advocate and say that's like, I'm not like, I don't need to go for secondary value, dude. Like, like at the end of the day, you need to be able to walk in there and you need to be able to walk out with actionable, education, data, things that can help you at all levels. And it's like, I don't need to like sit around and figure out how to optimize my OTAs and my res tag. So it's like, I feel like there's a segment missing. there. where it's like, yeah, lots of great business, B2B stuff, lots of great networking opportunities. But if I'm coming in there and I want to learn, dude, like I just, you know what I mean? Like even my partner, this is his first year as operation. I'm like, go do the programming. And he walked away and he was just kind of like, well, you know, like, yeah, you know, like, yeah. So I heard it a lot, dude. I heard it a lot from first timers too.
Yeah, no, I heard it too. So let's give some constructive criticism because, you know, we got a lot of feedback from our conference too to make it better. So, you know, I would say make the track, change the track to where it's basic, intermediate, and advanced, and have some really high level programming for people who've been in business for 10 years. They already get SEO and pay-per-click and all that. But like Kevin, you made a post on our Facebook group of some really high level business conversations, tax strategies, and just going really in depth, like very high level for owners. And, you know, I think that is and then may have some basic ones. Like I still think you need the intro to SEO and all that stuff, intro to ads and how to create a reel. Like that is important.
Let me say one thing. Let me say this one thing. All right. So we recently took on a financial advisor. So I had no idea that I could pay my 7-year-old legally, tax-free, and also contribute to her retirement. No idea. So that guy, they're charging us $3,000 a month, and he gave me one piece of advice in our intro conversation that's going to save me, for both my kids, $36,000. Boom. I didn't know that. I had no idea. And that paid for the whole year of us hiring him. So when he said $3,000 a month, bet. You saved me $36,000. So that's all there has to be done. Is like and again, so as you said, like, so for the intro person who's like, I have no idea what SEO is, and there's plenty of people in the industry who don't know the difference between organic and paid. All right, so you might save them $12,000 or $5,000 or whatever it is. It pays for the ticket for Arival 5 times over, right? And look, and I'm pretty good. I can extrapolate value. I went to Arival. We made a connection there, and something that made sense for us. I spend money. I'm gonna figure out how to make something out of that bitch. You know what I mean? I'm gonna figure out something. You know, but at the same point in time, you have to have an operator that's transitioning from 6 to 7 figures. Maybe you have an operator that's trying to transition from 7 to 8 figures. Like, why are we not talking about finance in these conversations at all? Because there can be little pieces of advice, little things that you can learn that can save you so much money and so much heartache transitioning, because no one tells you the difficulty from going to a 6-figure business to a 7-figure business, or from a 5-figure business to a 6-figure business. It is not difficult. It's not easy. So you make $30,000 and then one day you're making $150,000. You might I didn't even know how to run a 6-figure business. I didn't know how to run a 4-figure business, to be frank. And I think that there's things that is taken for granted in the education where it's like, look, man, I did not go to school for business. Like, I learned a little bit about marketing when I walked in here. But at the end of the day, guys, I want you to understand this. Like, when it comes to hiring a marketer or anybody in your business, slapping a niche on it does not make it the most powerful thing in the world. I love the marketers that work in our industry, okay, that are tourism marketers. But understand that you can hire a great fucking marketer that's not tourism based. I mean, you go hire Gary Vee. If you got the money to hire Gary Vee, he's the greatest marketer on the fucking planet, all right? And he's not the tourism marketer. He's just marketing. You want to go learn about marketing? Go to AdWorld. There's a great conference called AdWorld. You want to learn about sales? Go to GrowthCon, Grant Cardone. Like, at the end of the day, like, if people that are really good at business are going to be good at business. You could put Kai Capro, and he could run on a completely other business. He could consult you on probably your roofing business. because he understands the fundamentals of that stuff. Like there's fundamentals of marketing, there's fundamentals of finance. I'm just looking for a little bit of more fundamentals and even more higher level in different conversations, not just marketing. And it's reselling, it's reservation tech, which again, it's marketing. Like, is that res tech going to be able to convert? And then it's like, well, are we having, like, we talk about res tech, but yet we don't even get into a big portion of res tech, which is the reporting. Like nobody ever talks about that. And that's my first question. What reporting tools do you have? Because I need to figure out what my business is doing in all these different places, where money's coming in. Like if you are booking software, Fair Harbor is a bookkeeping software for me. Like that's the biggest tool that we use in look, not anybody, but you can optimize the checkout, right? You're going to split test. You're going to figure out what works. That's just the beginning. If you can't sell the fucking thing, like you shouldn't even be in ResTech. It's all these ancillary benefits, right? Are we talking about this conversation? Are they doing high level conversations about the reporting in this reservation technology? I mean, maybe they did it at Spark. I'm not sure.
Hey everyone, we're going to take a quick break to talk about our sponsor for the month, the Von Mack Agency. Von Mack is a full-service digital marketing agency with a focus on tour and activity operators. They offer it all: SEO, websites, pay-per-clicks, logos, content writing. If it's online marketing, they got you covered. As we mentioned before, it's uber important to hire an agency that understands our industry, and the Von Mack Agency knows water sports. Trust me.
And they do all the shit that you don't want to do. They do all the shit that you're probably not very good at, and they are. Look, for listeners of the show, America herself is giving a free consult, all right? If nothing else, give her a shout, give her a call, take 30 minutes out of your day. More importantly, take 30 minutes out of her day so she can get you straight on your marketing needs.
That's right. What do you have to lose? Head to VonMackAgency.com and go to the Contact Us page to get started. Again, VonMackAgency.com. And most importantly, let them know you were sent by the AWG guys. All right, let's get back to the show. But here's the thing, Kevin. I've been to the last four, and I know the programming is, it is surface level. I mean, there's some that's a little more advanced, but I knew that going in. But I mean, my whole focus on Arival is peer-to-peer education and creating new, contacts and expanding my network. Like those are the main things. So I'm not going to Arival. I mean, for the programming, like that's a small part. Like I like Douglas's keynote. And, Rachel did a phenomenal panel on OTAs, but I only went to like maybe 4 to 5 presentations. Like the rest, I was out networking and making contacts and scheduling meetings. And so it's all about what you want to get out of it. We're saying right now, if you are an experienced operator, you're well beyond surface level in a lot of areas, then you want to go and spend more time learning from others.
Well, so the thing is, man, is like you have to do like some deeper dives on some of this stuff, right? All of it. So if you go to Arival, like don't just make it Arival. And this is why I mentioned GrowthCon, why I mentioned AdWorld. It's like you can go and don't just look at the best in travel. Look at the best of the fucking best, man. Period. Right? And sometimes I feel like that's where I get sucked into a little bit of Arival. Is like, all right, this person's doing this in travel. Well, fantastic. That's great. But you know what I mean? Like if I'm looking for finance advice, who am I going to take it from? The best finance guy in travel or Warren Buffett? I don't know. So it's like if you're going to educate yourself and you're going to network, then don't just keep it at Arival, right? So if you go to Arival and you go, hey, this is surface, that's all fine and well. Then do more digging, do more due diligence, figure out like what works for a conference at you, what kind of value you can derive from it. This isn't like, I'm not trying to come and bag on Arival. Like, I like Arival. I like the guys that put it on. I like all the faces in the industry. It's great. But if you want people to return for the value and not just for the hot tub, you know what I mean? Or the networking, the sessions have to be more robust. I want to finish this thought. Let me finish this thought. Okay. And it's this. Like, I got another operator that reaches out to me, and he's like, what should my margins be? And it's like, dude, I feel like I'm doing a disservice to these guys sometimes, because it's your first year in operations and you're like, oh man, don't get me wrong. Like, yes, your margins matter, but I'm like, look, dude, stay in business, grow your business, try not to fucking pay taxes because you're in your first year. You shouldn't even be thinking about your fucking exit strategy. The IRS knows for the first 5 years. And it's like, to that exact point, right? So it's like, because we're having a higher level conversation, you have this guy thinking that he needs to he's making $100,000 a year or $90,000 a year, and he needs to be surrounded by all these fucking C-level guys giving him a Wharton School of Business, breakdown of what his business is worth. It's like, well, it's not worth anything, dude. It's still a job, man. You're just getting it started. So I don't want to like break balls on Arival, but not at the same point in time. It's like, yes, there's your first time going in. You're still trying to figure out how to bring people onto your trip. Arival's really good for you. It is your first year. But for the guys that are coming back year after year, this is my point that, little something for us old heads, man.
Yeah, no. So I think the answer to this is, maybe, consider an advanced track.
Yeah, if I didn't hear it so much from people, man, like if it wasn't like the surface level stuff and there was some of the people that I talked to, and it's anecdotal, it was their first year. It was, not their first year in business, first year at Arival, and they just kind of like saw some of the stuff being like elementary, and it just like Arival's its own thing, man. You know what I mean?
And I'm sure Douglas was listening, and and they really take the feedback seriously. And but this is not just us saying this. We had other people that were in our in our group that were there that had the same. And again, this is not like oh, we're not coming back because of this. We're just saying that the advanced programming wasn't necessarily as strong as it could have been. So, but my biggest complaint was that the hot tub closed at 5 p.m. How did we not miss this? Yeah, 5 p.m. I've never heard of a pool closing at 5 p.m. ever.
Yeah. So I also want to play to the point where like Arivals too is like they're like, it's like almost like there's a little bit of like a university type feel to it, or education, as I said in the beginning, like there's no hard selling from the stage. They want to be transparent. So I don't know if like arts and what's the other word I'm looking for? Arts and music or
culture.
There's this like, say it again.
Culture.
Yeah, culture and arts and like, it's like one part business, but one part community, and there's a need to make sure they're encompassing a lot of, every voice that from the community can be brought in and has a voice and
diversity.
Diversity, and look, I definitely appreciate all that as from a segment of the industry that's like heavily male dominated. Like I get it. Like I understand, man. Like water sports is like from the 80s. It's very, it's an old head industry. So I get that, and we make it a point at my company to hire the best. And luckily, we have a very diverse company at Destiny Water Events. The best in the game. I'd say, like, my team is like, every single one of them, I'm paying for them to go to captain school. So, I mean, that just attests to the dogged, like the competitive nature of the way we hire. As far as like the greater world at large and that's concerned, like, I can't imagine what they have to go through on a daily basis to try and whatever their goals or objectives is. Because they're not just like money, right? Like when it comes to business, I'm just like money, the best the most. You know what I mean? Like this is sort of like I'm very competitive when it comes to business. So that doesn't necessarily seem to be like a rival's take on it. You know what I mean? They're not, it doesn't seem like they're trying to. I don't know what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, I know you're trying. Yeah, they're mission.
Not a lot of Grant Cardone types at at Arrival. You're right. No one's like rolling up in their fucking Lamborghini. But I want some of that, man. And I said that in my post. Like, I need some of that, dude. Like, I don't like, look, you can be the
But there's other conferences. I mean, it's not like, but
I feel like they could benefit from that a little bit. There could be a little bit of fucking fanfare in there. No, I mean, there could be a little bit of fucking flexing there, I feel like. Like, I feel like that there's so much of a push toward the culture and fucking diversity side. We're also missing the side of it that's like really important. And that in order to be sustainable, you also have to be economically sustainable, right? And you fucking have to crush and you have to set big goals and go for that shit. And some of that is missing. A little bit of the snake oil that comes from the mindset and influencer and the hardcore sales people that are out there that we see in our Facebook feeds that are calling us up all day long. The business to business side where we're like, well, I don't want to be selling and I don't want to be sold to. Well, fucking like I want a little bit of that. I would like a little bit of that at Arrival. Because when you come out of an Ian, when you come out of a COVID, when you come out of a bad year, dude, you need a little bit of motivation, man. You need a little bit of like, let's fucking go. A little bit of that salesy, let's get in the office. Let's get everybody pumped. Like when I walk into my office, dude, everybody knows I'm in this motherfucker. You know what I mean? I come in, I'm like, fucking let's go. Like, what are we doing today? Like, let's just get fucking pumped up. Let's get excited about our shit. You know what I mean? Like, I just feel like there could be a little bit of that at Arrival, and it wouldn't hurt the brand because they're doing such a good job of making sure that they are being transparent, that they're being inclusive, that they are not being hardcore selly, and that they are educating, that there could be a little bit of that sprinkled in, and it wouldn't hurt the brand at all. And I would walk away feeling like a little bit pumped about 2023. You know what I mean? Like everything, you know what I mean? There can be a little bit of sales culture in there. That's the only way I would describe it. Sales culture is missing from Arrival. And it needs it. You need a little Gary Vee. You need a little Uncle Grant. You need a little bit of that stuff because you need it in your fucking business. Period. Like we're talking about TikTok, right? We're talking about TikTok, da-da-da. What about your posting frequency? Are you smashing the fucking world? Like when Justin Buzzy at our thing said, like, how many are you posting 20 times to Reels? Like that stuff is really important. Like the posting frequency, like where are you at? Like how much are you getting out there? Like, and I feel like in their need to maybe segment themselves from that constituency, they're missing out on some really great opportunity that maybe people don't follow Gary Vee, that don't follow Grant Cardone, that aren't like ingratiating themselves into that culture a little bit. Because it just to completely deny it and act like it's not there and think it's like a bad thing. You are missing out on inspiring your team and making sure that you are getting everything out of your business. Like sales, it might have flipped. It used to be 80 sales, 20% marketing. And now within the last 20 years, it's flipped to like 80% marketing, 20% sales. But that 20% of sales is still very important. And I think that's what's missing from Arrival. Little more swearing. I will give him that. Doug swore, I guess. He swore. And that's great, man. Like, it's this. I looked this shit up. It's not like I like willy-nilly into this and did this stuff. You know what I mean? Like there's swearing in marketing and it converts if done right. So anyway, swear more, Douglas. Have a little bit of more fucking, you can raise your voice up a little bit because sometimes we just need to have. I know guys right now, man. They need to have their voices raised. They're fucking.
I agree with you to some extent. I
to all the extent. Everything I said is 100%.
Someone on stage that's very energetic. I mean, you could say that the MC had some energy, but. Just someone.
Yeah, I talked to that Robbie guy like in the thing, man. He was cool as shit. I liked his lightning bolt earring. That was dope. I was like, dude, I love your shoes, and I didn't even realize that he was like the MC guy. And he's like, oh, I like your shoes, and then,
he definitely had some energy. No, I agree to that. But at the end of the day, I think they have a vision for it, and I subscribe to portions of it. Like I said, I'm not going to go in for the programming is not necessarily speaks to me as much as it would a beginning operator. So I know exactly what I'm going in there for, and I get a lot out of it, especially as an OTA, because a lot of suppliers, I didn't think there'd be as many opportunities there, because being in Vegas, it's far away from our main markets, but there was a lot of people from Florida there. So, we did okay. So like I said, it's at the end of the day, it's like you got to know what you're getting into. And I think this episode's going to really help people that are looking to go in the future, like know, okay, what are my expectations for it? If you're an experienced operator, I know Douglas and Bruce are going to listen, and they're fluid. Like they're going to make changes based on feedback. They're really big into that. And as we said earlier, I think there's a strong need for an advanced track for operators, just from the several people that I surveyed and said, hey, what would you like to see next year more? But, one thing that was very consistent is Arival has really done a good job bringing people together and share, allowing us to share stories and have fun together. Because, I wasn't at all the program. I was playing blackjack with Jason and James and all these guys, or we went to dinner together, like really just bring us together in a fun atmosphere. That's the special part of it. And I like the networking lounge. Like I'll hang out there all day because everyone's passing through. And right. Speaking of networking,
but not every operator's got $1,000 to fucking spend on fun, dude. You know what I mean? For a good time with their buddies and shit. You know what I mean? Like, like we're fortunate enough where we had some good years. We can go out and spend $1,000 to go have fun and network and do all that great stuff. But there's operators that weren't there this year because they couldn't afford that $1,000 unless at 100% they're going to get 10x back on that investment. And that's what I fucking suggest. Like if you cannot figure out a way to 10x your investment into anything, then like I'm not sitting here like fucking telling anybody to do anything unless I feel like it's going to substantially create a net positive in their business. Now, I'm a smart guy, right? I'm not the smartest guy in the room, but I'm a smart guy. I went into Arival. I paid my $1,000 and I 100% am going to either 10 or 100x my return on that investment because we found a great partnership that really worked for us. And I'm going to extract that value just because I'm a cheap ass. I cannot go somewhere and not get something out of what I'm putting my money into.
Can you talk about what you came out of Arival with?
Yeah, so it was Trolley Pub, which is really funny. And I'm going to wrap this back into, I'm going to put Kai on blast a little bit because he's like, well, I don't like to sell. I'm like, awesome, dude. Well, I potentially missed out on a great partnership and a great revenue generating thing because you were selling me Paddle Pub, which I wasn't interested in, but Trolley Pub, which I am. And I saw a lot of water sport guys standing around Kai's thing and being very interested in that because what always meshes with our vertical is not necessarily known. Like, we do a great job at monetizing sand and water, but we're always interested in what we can monetize on the street because if I can use that parking space for a trolley pub and a pickup point, it's not costing me anything extra other than my investment into the franchise, and it allows me to diversify, right? So to that point, Kai said the exact same thing. And I'm going to put you on blast too because I was telling you yesterday I don't think that you push wave res enough. And this whole push to not be irritating and be sellers and shit like that, we're missing opportunities, man. And we're missing not just opportunities for our businesses and ourselves, but for potential partnerships and potential clients and potential customers that could really derive a ton of value from the products and services that we offer. But because we don't want to be pushy or we don't want to sell or we don't want to soft sell or hard sell, we're like, you're hoping that the people like catch your soft sell. And that just might not necessarily be the case. I need somebody to go like, hey, Kevin, I got this great fucking product for you, blah, 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 blah. And then I'm going to go, awesome. You know what I mean? Sounds great. So Trolley Pub worked out for us. I'm interested in the dynamic pricing software. Again, super, like you wouldn't even notice these fucking guys had that, you know what I mean? I was just like, oh, what's that? Another res tech had to tell me about them sitting over there because they're all like fucking quiet over in the corner.
Yeah, that's I'll tell you, the networking lounge is my favorite part because
100%.
they got coffee there. and all the businesses are there, and you can have conversations, at the ones that mean the most. Like I was really impressed with Kai. Kai is gonna come out of Arival as probably the winner. Like if there was a competition, Kai, because I've saw so many people around his booth, and I think he told me like he signed one contract on the spot.
Well, he had a trolley there.
Yeah, the trolley.
He just got one yesterday.
Yeah.
So he had a trolley there. It was big. It was garish. It was fucking like standing out, man. And like, how the hell would I know what that thing looked like unless it wasn't there? Unless I had somebody. Same thing. Steve had the game center. He was out there fucking, pushing every single client he possibly could. He was out there selling, man. And it's just like, I'm going to keep on beating this to fucking death, because it just, for some reason, we are in this day and age where selling your business is bad. And sometimes, and again, like that's sort of like why I guess I'm giving Arival a little bit of a hard time on this episode, is because it's like the same thing. Fucking sell your shit, man. Tell me why I'm wrong. Tell me why Arival's the greatest thing for fucking operators. I don't need it soft spoken. Like, fucking tell me, man. Tell me why it's fucking great. What are all the benefits to coming to this network? To this conference? Tell me all this stuff. Like, I am going to march sales back into tourism, because I feel like it's missing. So, like, all in all, I will be back at Arival. Like, you didn't lose me. We're not going anywhere. I would bring my partner again. I would bring any budding entrepreneur in the water sports industry who is like completely ignorant of res tech, of OTAs, of all this stuff. Like, absolutely. Like, I understand that's who you're marketing to, but at the same point in time, I think there's just some like weird ethics that kind of like that get weaved into, where it's just kind of like, selling's bad, and you know what I mean? Like, there's sometimes there's like a couple things that I just kind of feel like, man, I don't know. But maybe I'm just an old head, and I need to get brought into that. Yeah, it's me. It's my fault.
It's
That's
you.
Right.
It's all you. I'm telling you right now.
I'm the fucking smartest guy here. I'm the smartest guy at Arival.
Yeah, well,
that's why I had no way to charge people for my time, so I fucking.
So how much money did you lose in Vegas?
We're not going to talk about that.
Let's talk about it, because I made money. So.
Oh, you made fucking $2,000, bro.
Yeah.
This guy. Yeah, and you were like drunkenly texting me, "I'm rich. I'm rich. I'm rich." Like, I would get the most random texts from you. I'm like, yeah. So like the big thing is, big surprise. Like, I don't, people meet me, they're shocked that I don't fucking drink, right? So, and I've been back and forth with it, for a long time, and it's like diet, right? Like, I'm really into like trying to like be healthier.
And then you bought a business that's centered around drinking. Congrats.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because I mean, it's a good time, dude. Like, you know what really was so silly?
I'm gonna be the first customer on your trolley pub. No, I'll be regulars. You might have to do a subscription, because that's fun. That's gonna be fun.
I'm excited about it. I'm excited about like Christmas and the holidays, so I can do like stuff in the off season that's like celebratory of the holidays.
Can we go in the Christmas parade and and then we're all like drunk and yelling like that.
I'll block the whole thing out,
candy.
dude. I'll be at the head of. I'll be on the main. Like, I'll be the guy up at the fucking front. You know what I mean?
Just like Santa. You'd be just like Santa driving the pedal pump.
Oh
my gosh,
in
that's
my
gonna
life,
be.
Man. Yeah,
oh my God.
I'm super pumped about it. But yeah, I spent too much money in Vegas. I lost hard, fast, like 3 times. And it's really funny. You were saying like one of your buddies, like the last night, you couldn't even get him to leave his room. Like, because that's what Vegas does to you, man. It takes your fucking money and then you're sad. So by day 2, I took such a beating that I just did not want to come back out, dude. Like, I was so like, I'm not leaving my room. Every time I leave my room, it costs me $2,000, dude. Like, this is.
You thought you could play more and make the money back, huh?
Dude, I had this whole roulette strategy that just like.
There is no strategy. The best odds is going to be blackjack.
I hate blackjack. I hate it. It's too fast, because there's a betting strategy to blackjack too. There's people who play blackjack professionally, and there is a betting strategy. And it's the same thing. There's a betting strategy in roulette. You have to lay out a lot of fucking money if you actually want to win. And that was the problem. I was getting to a point where I could not like double down. Like, if I was going to go double down, I was going to put like $2,000 down on one fucking hand. And I'm like not doing that. I don't have that kind of money. So I lost a lot of money. And I fucking, you know what I mean? Like I was like getting up. I didn't want to get up at 5 a.m. and go to, like, I was doing my shit. I was still going to the gym in the morning. I was still doing my stuff. And then I was just like beat down, man. I was like, I really went hard in the gym with Ben Merrill from Power Up, my business partner. And I went and got a massage. That was great. Super expensive though. It was like $300, dude. But she like worked the kink out of my arm, man. Like I've had this like a rotator cuff injury, and I had some relief from that for like 5 days. It was good, man. Vegas is just a lot, man. It's just a lot of money, and you know, like I'll be happy if they have it in Orlando again.
I'm actually looking forward to Orlando next year because I don't want to be near a casino. It's just bad news.
Yeah, man. Yeah. Me. So I just so we're here. I just want to like, you know, I got to, if I don't, I feel like people listen to what we say. And we have a great relationship with Arival, and I like, you know, I love those guys, man. I think Doug and Bruce are great, but at the same point in time, like if we can't just be 100% real with everybody that's listening to us, then I just, you know what I mean? I don't even want to do this fucking show. Like, just shut it down. If I can't tell you how I really feel about something, then I'm just not going to say it. I don't give a shit. Like, if you ask, it's just funny because this happens all the time, and I say it all the time. People call me up, and they're like, oh, what's the real deal? What do you think about this? Listen to the show. Like, like that's exactly how I feel about it, man. Like, 100% honest. And sometimes Greg's got to pull me back because I'll be mean because I love you guys, but sometimes I'm like, hey man, you're fucking up, dude. And that's okay. I want you to tell me the same thing, and it's okay. And then we can hug it out, you know? We can hug it out and make nice again. No, it's all good, man. I go to Arival, have fun. Maybe don't spend so much money on the blackjack table. You know, maybe they could have had a little bit better programming or a little bit longer hot tub. Those are the critiques.
Yeah, the biggest complaints are the hot tub closing at 5 and also
that was a complaint from you. I don't think anybody else gave a shit.
Yeah, you know, another I won't say this is a complaint, but it was fun. So every time I went to my room at night, there was a line of hookers just sitting down. Awesome. And they would call to me, and they were like, sex workers, yes. But they would call to me. They're like, hey, good looking, hey. And I'm just like, you know what? You can keep the compliments going. It's not going to get you anywhere, but keep the compliments going because it does make me feel really good. And then they're waving at me.
Yeah, compliments from sex workers.
Beautiful women, you know, they're waving at me. I'm like, this never happens. Hey, you know, like, makes me feel really good because I don't, my wife's not saying, oh, hey, you're looking really good today. No, she doesn't do that anymore. So it was just really nice to be acknowledged.
Mine does.
So it's like,
she does. She compliments me all the time.
So every night I walk back, you know, it's like midnight one, and the line of hookers, you know, acknowledging me and made me feel really good. Sex workers, yes. Sex workers.
Sex workers, not hookers, Greg. Let's get the diversity nomenclature right. Since we're doing Arival, we gotta. Yeah, man. So I gotta say, like, that was not happening at Resort World. Like, I looked at that Paris place and I was like, man, the rooms look old. I didn't like the reviews. And Resort World's just like relatively new, and they have this great shopping there. And like,
I just didn't want to be away from the conference, you know, like just walking.
So I will say that
I wouldn't go.
Considering,
I'd be at the casino the entire time. Like, it would be really hard for me to leave and do it. Yeah.
So anyway, out of 10, I'm gonna give this year's Arival a 7. I'm gonna give it a 7. That's what you get out of me.
I'll give it an 8.
Go ahead. Go be political, Greg. I knew you were gonna say 8. That's why I didn't say 6.
I would have still given it an 8. No, I still gonna give it an 8.
I'll give Arival. I'll give it an 8 for Bruce and Doug because I like those two motherfuckers. Go to Arival, whatever. Have fun. Go do whatever you can.
Go in the hot tub.
Do everything. Go in the hot tub. All right, that's it. This is going way too long.
All right, guys. As always, keep it awkward because that's all our show is sometimes.
Awkward. Yeah.
Awkward. All right. Have a great one. See ya.